The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
This is The Alpha Sessions. I'm Emma and I'm here with Melinda Ortner. Hello.
Hi, Emma.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for coming down.
Absolutely.
So take us back to the very beginning of the music thing for you.
The very beginning.
God,
How
did it all
sounds
start?
so scary. I was in musicals as a kid, but it was more just because I was just singing with my chest voice. Like, I didn't think I actually could sing. I just was small and petite, and so I was playing Oliver.
Amazing.
I was a boy, and then they needed more. They needed female altos for the choir, and so I was just kind of trying to do it for to fill space, in the school. But then I was like, oh, actually, I'm not that bad. I don't know. I developed a little bit, and then people were saying, yeah, you sound good. You have a nice clear tone. I did. Now it's I'm just embracing the more raspiness that's happened over the years, probably from not singing correctly all the time or speaking. So that was sort of stemmed it. And then my dad's a music teacher.
Oh, wow.
And he has all sorts of instruments in the house. So we always had music growing up. He taught music in Peru, and so we had all these really cool instruments, which I didn't play any of them, but they were there. And there was a piano, and so I did grow up doing a bit of piano lessons, and so that was helpful. Thanks, Dad.
So at what point did you? So at what point did you kind of think, okay, I want to make a go of this as an artist?
I was at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, which is near Santa Barbara, in California. It was an engineering school, but I was doing a theater degree.
Cool.
So it was scraping by, looking wow, you got into Cal Poly. Well, I did, but on the theater program. So, anyways, it was then I was closer to LA, so I was on the weekends. I was kind of doing what nobody else was doing, is driving to LA for really random Gumtree kind of auditions. We don't have Gumtree there, but Craigslist.
The Gumtree equivalent.
We have Craigslist, yeah. So Craigslist auditions for weird gothic films. I was 19 or something, or 8, yeah. And I was I just need to go to LA. I need to get there. I was very gung ho about being in LA, so I went there, went to LA, and then I didn't know anybody. I mean, I really didn't know anybody.
Was that quite scary?
Yeah, it was. I remember driving there with all my stuff, and I'm not the kind of kid that I don't talk to my mom and dad every single day. So I mean, it was I needed to call her on the ride and be can we talk? I'm I'm just leaving here. I'm just driving to LA, kind of young, and I was I was freaking out. I just remember that drive was it smelled like cow manure. There's this long stretch where there's no reception even. So then I dropped the call, and I'm just here I am. There's no reception in the middle of nowhere getting to LA, but it was cool. I ended up starting though in this city called Corona, which is 2 hours north of LA, which I was very not happy about, because no, there's LA and I'm passing it. And it was this thing called Young Americans.
Okay.
Yeah, it was it's a performing arts group, and they're on the jazz hands.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? They're very theatrical, really cool. They've played. They're very old, an old group. They've been going on for a long time. They performed with Julie Andrews, and they played for the Kennedys, and they've toured all over. And so it was a big fish in a small pond back in my hometown, kind of. Not really. There were a lot of talented people in my town, actually. But then I was a really teeny fish in a big pond with the Young Americans. So I did that for a year, and that was cool. It was kind of I had already lived on my own, in university or college, as we say.
Yeah.
But it's still different. When you're in the school system, you're in your dormitory, and you have this program, and you have the campus to run around in. It's more safe. It's kind of a different living alone, living by yourself, independently, when you're doing music.
It can be scary though.
Yeah, it was definitely, yeah, I was God, it's really young to just move to LA by myself.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, I got there for a while.
So before someone comes in, I normally just trawl through some things online. And I noticed that your website says that you're a mix of Muse, Fiona Apple, Regina Spektor. And I looked at that and I just thought, what a quirky mix of artists. What made you pick those, and do you think that they still inspire you?
Thanks. I didn't pick Regina Spektor. She's awesome, but I just got that comparison a bit, so I just threw it in there. So I was like, all right, well, that's more accurate than like unbiased sort of description.
Yeah.
But I grew up listening to a lot of Radiohead. All my family are like I have 2 brothers, cousins I'm very close with, all dudes. So they like grew me up on like Stone Temple Pilots and Nirvana and Radiohead and all the good bands, Pearl Jam. And so, I think I was more swayed to like that dark rock stuff. And then Muse came around, and I didn't really think they were that much like Radiohead, but I know that they get the comparison a lot. But then the Muse thing, I was just like, oh, that's like, I just want to, that sort of, it's like classical music mixed with like rock and electronic stuff. I always loved electronic music. And I think because I have a short attention span and like I totally have ADD, I love singer-songwriters just playing guitar. I love it. But my attention span like doesn't allow for so much of it. So I was more going towards like Daft Punk or Fisher Spooner or like Purity Ring, which is their more recent ones, or Air. You know Air? Yeah. Like that stuff just resonates with me so much because there's all these layers of sounds and there's a lot going on. Like so, I'm stimulated. I don't know layers. It's beautiful. Yeah, and like Goldfrapp, I love Goldfrapp. Yeah,
amazing.
So I wanted to kind of, and it's harder to do obviously if you're doing a solo show. You're just you're doing the keyboard, but like in my head, it's like there's all these things happening as well. Silly me, I left the light on in my head, and now it's dead, and you linger. And while it's dark in here, I'm only seeing parts of the picture you painted. But why do I keep running towards the sun when it burns me? And why do I pretend that nothing you've said hasn't hurt me? And I need a better reason for your sweet little lies. As quickly as you get here, I'm left here to cry when it's always almost never certain. Sometimes we'll see, then I'll take what you said and I'll try to get it out of my head. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Foolish girl, you missed another cue to call it a day with your heartbreak. Instead, you hit the lines you fed you without reading in between, and now your heart aches. So wake up, can't you see? He's only scratching till you bleed. And I keep telling myself I'll get out now, but here I sit and stay somehow. I need a better reason for your sweet little lies. As quickly as you get here, I'm left here to cry when it's always almost never certain. Sometimes we'll see, then I'll take what you said and I'll try to get it out of my head. Build me up to put me down, easy while you let me drown. Where's the pain I should be feeling now? Tell me there's a reason why I never want to leave your side. I can't believe I've wasted all this time. And I need a better reason for your sweet little lies. As quickly as you get here, I'm left here to cry when it's always almost never certain. Sometimes we'll see, then I'll take what you said and I'll try to get it out of my, I'll try to get it out of my, I'll try to get it out of my head.
The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
So in the band that you didn't bring here,
Yeah.
like what is there? Who plays what?
So Alex is kind of like, I call him the MD. He's like the fat synth player. Not fat, right? The synth is fat. He's the fat synth player. No, he's actually quite skinny. But it's this amazing. Oh, I should know what Dave. I should know what it's called. And then I got an awesome drummer, Nick, and a new guitar player named Quentin.
Cool.
He does he really makes it rock and stuff. And all those lines that I wrote in the arrangement of the album, he like gets out there. Otherwise, like we don't have enough instruments to get all the arrangements that are in the album. So yeah, that's been cool. We had a really cool festival. We played at Lechlade in the Cotswolds.
Oh yeah,
I've only been there in the winter, like at Christmas time.
we just came back from there actually.
Oh really?
I this is an honest thing. I thought it was actually called the Cotswolds, as in like
the
world.
Cotswolds. Isn't there like a store called the Cotswolds, like a play on?
But I was totally baffled why there wasn't an R. And this is literally what I found out the last week.
That's so funny. In your English.
Really sad.
Oh, Emma, that's so funny.
You also won an amazing award with the MTV Star in the Spotlight.
Yeah, that was so random. I had like a manager at the time in LA, and she sent me a link or something. I think that's what it was, and I just submitted my video, thought nothing of it, and it was it ended up to be really cool. We got to open for Joe Jonas and like
That's mental.
Cobra Starship and Miguel. Do you know Miguel?
I've heard of him.
Yeah, and they weren't even. Miguel like wasn't that big at the time. I think he's like quite bigger now.
quite big
I don't
now,
know.
yeah.
I don't keep up sometimes. Like in my own little world. And then we played at the pre-VMAs, which was really awesome.
So amazing.
That was in LA at the House of Blues. And then actually part of the award was to get a music video like played on MTV2. But I kind of screwed that up because I had a video, the one that won. I was like, oh, but I'm working on this other one that's way like darker and cool. And but then by the time we finished it, I don't know. It just like had been so much time since then, so I never actually
Oh, no.
I never got that bit of the award, and it's kind of my own fault. The trials and tribulations of ADD. Oh my God, like even the stuff that would be good for me, I forget to do. Anyway, but it's still like there. I'm like, okay, well, I've been working on this crazy ice video for too long now, and like that's the one I would want to. I'm just gonna, like the people are probably not even working there anymore that that were part of the award stuff. But you never know. I'm just gonna, when I have it ready, I'm gonna be like, so remember that time I won that award and I never
Can I
got
send
it.
a video off now?
Yeah, I know it's been like 5 years, but it's all right.
Let's talk about your album as well, which is
Yeah.
really awesome. And if people like the session, they can go and buy it and
thanks.
listen to it and stuff. It's called I'll Be Okay, right?
I want to be okay.
I Want to Be Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Talk to us a little bit about that and the process of putting it together.
Oh, thanks. So that was we recorded a lot of the strings and bits of the cello. We put all the cello and bits in Israel. I wasn't in Israel myself, but my producer was Israeli, and so we used a lot of his musicians back in where he's from, I guess near Tel Aviv. And so it was amazing. Like with the internet, you don't have to be everywhere. You are everywhere. You can just have someone do that and send the files, and then it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Oh, I think that's crazy.
Yeah, but they sounded great, and I think the fees weren't as much when you get musicians not in LA. I feel like LA, it's just they charge more. It's just LA, because they're also they're not working on your project. They're working on Macy Graves' project.
Yeah.
So you're the small artist, but you don't have the budget as. But they think for some reason that I'm like, you guys forgot I'm not on the level of Macy Graves, so you're gonna have to give me the indie rate. Anyways, so his name's Asaf Rodé, and he's awesome. Now he's MD for Ava Max and Lil Nas and stuff. Everybody that in that group who worked on my album are now doing so well. They're playing with Jason Mraz, and one of them won a Grammy, and Aloe Black, and so crazy. Yeah, so it's been nice to see all of them do so well. So they're all on the record. I got them on the record before they were hot shots. And so that was a long and grueling process though. So I was doing dog walking.
How long
to
did
pay
it
for
take?
it. A long time, I want to say 4 years, just because
Wow.
he was, he had his day job at the time, playing guitar for other things like this online website thing. And then I was walking dogs, and so I was like slowly paying for it as I went along, and then it just took so long, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think it's different when you're signed and like you just have this strict timeline and you have a team that's like pushing you.
Yeah.
And you know, it's different when it's kind of almost like not a side project, but it's like because you're human, you still got to do your laundry. You don't have like anybody helping you. You're like doing the human thing, which is hard enough. And then you're like doing an album as well. So I think people are always like, when is it out? And like I now have so much respect for these kinds of products because they really are a labor of love, and like they just take so much. And also there's like battle scars in the end, like, you know, you have to compromise a bit. And but my album would not be, I'm so proud of that album, and it would not have been anything close to what it is without Asaf. Like he did so much beautiful arrangements and just like genius playing, and I wrote bits too, of course, and obviously the songs, but he added those bits at just like the smallest thing, you know, will just make the song. So I'm really grateful for that.
Would you take another 4 years to do another one?
Oh, don't ask me that. Well, basically I have been, because I haven't done another one yet, but now I'm just like focusing on like just singles and music videos, and even music videos for those songs.
Yeah.
Even though the album is released technically, but it's kind of like, okay, well, it's out, but like the whole world doesn't know it's out. Like I could take it down and re-release it. I think a lot of artists actually do that. They like
sometimes.
re-release until it gets traction.
Yeah.
You know, like take everything down, put it up, try again. You know, like don't just keep. I mean, it's good to keep making new music, but I mean, that's a good album there, you know, but I also need to focus on new music too. As I was like balancing it. But I should try to get in more sings and stuff too. But I have gotten some cool sings. Wake me up, and show me what you want me to be. Make me believe in everything they told you would be. And this falling force is holding me hard to the ground. And as my fingers curl, the smiles on your faces turn mine down. So I take a trip home, it's nice to be home. And the questions start, they still don't understand what I'm doing out here, living my dare. Then I ask myself, why'd I come home? And as I run back to LA, as fast as I possibly can, I find more reason to hate a dream that I still want so bad. And I wanna be okay if the end I need isn't meant for me. And I wanna be okay if I lose this fight after all this time. And I wanna be okay if nothing comes from the one thing I needed. And they tell you to dream, they tell you to try. You do, and they ask you why. So you punish yourself and make your life hell, and find yourself living in lies. And as I run back to LA, as fast as I possibly can, I find more reason to hate a dream that I still want so bad. And I wanna be okay if the end I need isn't meant for me. And I wanna be okay if I lose this fight after all this time, and I wanna be okay if nothing comes from the one thing I needed, the one thing I needed, the one thing I need, the one thing I need. And I wanna be okay if the end I need isn't meant for me. And I wanna be okay if nothing comes from the one thing I needed.
The Alpha Sessions.
You spent some time in LA for ages, and then you moved
ages.
to London. What
Yeah.
made you want to do the move?
I know everyone's like, why would you move to London?
I mean, we love having
from
you here,
California?
but yeah.
Like, are you mad? Like, I mean, the winter isn't the best. That's when I go back to LA. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to LA for a month now. I have always been like an Anglophile. Like my parents, my dad grew me up on like Monty Python and all English musicians, and of course the Beatles. But a lot of Monty Python, and like that was camping was my life, like going camping in the woods and stuff. Like I'm a big nature girl, and that's like where I found so much peace and joy, and just playing as a kid. And I was like literally looked forward to that every summer. And we would just sit around the campfire and listen to just the audio of Monty Python. I never actually I didn't even know that there was a film until years later. I was like, what? And it just like kind of just shattered this whole wall. I was like, no, I'm going to go back to the audio. Like I liked just picturing everything, like the penguin on my television. Like I just wanted to picture that. I didn't need to see it all acted out. But anyway, so I guess that was it. And then I had English friends that lived down the road, and they were living in California because of their parents, their job and stuff. But then I remember the day they moved back to England, and I was so sad. And we visited them when I was like 10. And I just had so much fun here. And I was like, I just see myself living here when I'm older. I just had like this vision. So, I mean, London is a great city. I think people like to bash on it because, like everyone likes to kind of bash on where they live. Like, oh, the grass is always greener on the other side. But London is like such an amazing city. I mean, the weather isn't great, and there's shitty people everywhere, but there's also really lovely people. And I felt like I didn't offend people so much here. Like I could sort of like take the piss out of people, if that's okay to say.
Yeah.
And they weren't like, oh my God, I'm so offended, or like, I don't know, they're just like a bit more sensitive over there in my opinion. I feel like we can just kind of banter and like, it's not going to hurt your feelings. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I really appreciated that. The humor, I think. You know what I mean?
How would you compare the music industry in LA to the music industry in London?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, LA is like a mecca. There's so much happening. There's a lot. Like, if you're a guitar player, I'd say the best place to be would probably be LA, because you're just, that's where all that's where they're booking all the massive tours. But not necessarily, there's a lot of musicians here that have gotten on big tours too and stuff. But as an artist, I mean, I didn't think it was a very nurturing place in LA. Like, it's a big grid of sidewalks, and it's all industry meetings. Like, I didn't find as many venues and stuff, but obviously there's venues there and stuff, and it's great. But I found in London I was just playing constantly. Like, there's just even pubs, pubs are pubs, but there's not even there's not really pubs in LA, so you can just play all the time in London, everywhere. So the live music scene, I think, there's a buzz, it's just more alive. There's like a bloodline, it's like there's this energy. And I couldn't deny that, And I think people who come from LA over here just for like a week to check it out, they always leave London being like, oh man, like I'm just buzzing from that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in LA, I think it's a bit more, it's kind of a lonely city. Like, it's a beautiful place weather-wise, and I mean, there's great food and all that. But you're in your car a lot, and you're not, there's no tube or anything, so you're not connected a lot. You're disconnected a lot. You're kind of alone in, you know, the one box to the next box
Yeah.
to the next box. And so I was missing that connectivity that I always felt when I came here to do like tours and stuff. But I mean, as far as like opportunity, it's a tough one, you know. Sometimes I think about moving back to LA, if I'm honest, like, and I might, you know, just because it's like, oh, where would I be if I hadn't left? You know, there always pops into my head. What if? Yeah. And like, then you start seeing people on your social media, like, that are still in LA, like, having a big break or, you know, something. You're like, oh, if I just stayed there, that would be happening to me too, you know. But then there's like so much amazing stuff happening here too. So I think because of the internet, things are just so much more global now. You know, you can be in like a tiny little town in Boulder and something and be a YouTube sensation and never stepped on into an airplane to go to LA or Nashville and Nashville also is like a big hub. So I think hopefully talent rises to the top, especially the internet. You know, just keep putting your stuff out there and people will see it, whether you live in Timbuktu.
And you're really good at that, so.
Oh, I'm okay. See, I've gotten the self-deprecating thing down. It's because I've been in England now for 4 years. I swear I wasn't this bad before. I was like more cocky. Now I'm just like, no.
When all the world is fast asleep and we're up chasing every dream, I know time won't ever slow down, no, but I could swear it stopped right now. And darling, I'm not gonna run this time so high I can't come down. All eyes are on us now, but I can't hear a sound, and I can't touch the ground when hearts collide. And maybe I had it all wrong. Maybe I had it all wrong. So many memories slipped away, and today someone said your name. The memory slipped right through my skin, and I felt it starting all again. And I closed my eyes and finally felt alive. So high I can't come down. All eyes are on us now, but I can't hear a sound, and I can't touch the ground when hearts collide. And maybe I had it all wrong. Maybe I had it all. And love will find you when you've written all your plans, and life will find you when the message all begins. But hearts will wait until they break. So high I can't come down. All eyes are on us now, but I can't hear a sound, and I can't touch the ground when hearts collide. And maybe I had it all wrong. Maybe I had it all wrong. And maybe I had it all wrong. Maybe I'm sorry I waited so long.
The Alpha Sessions.
We were chatting a little bit off air and on air about the kind of the mental health versus musician thing.
Yeah.
And there's obviously a lot of chat now, which is really, really amazing. And being a hospital radio station primarily, we do have programmes on the station about mental health specifically, and ways that you can combat that and help yourself whilst in the hospital bed. But as a creative, we were having a chat about how because you give yourself more time to think, to be creative, there is that kind of that risk of giving yourself too much time to think anyway.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, as we were saying, the wandering eye is can lead to more depression and anxiety, because you know you have this time to really like ruminate in thoughts, and everyone has thoughts, you know. But I think what artists and also just non-artists need to realize is that like you are not your thoughts. And like I have to remind myself this, like I am not my thoughts. Like they are just like a wave of things that in a way almost out of my control that I just have to observe, as if I'm looking at a sunset, or if I'm looking at a I don't know, the traffic. I'm just watching it go by. And it's not necessarily something I have to start analyzing every thought and being like, I need to make a decision because this thought is really, I have to fix this. Like, it's just a thought, and if it keeps coming up, then maybe, you know, maybe it's something to address, to look at. But other than that, it's just you have to like allow the wandering to happen, because as an artist, you know, that's where your creativity does come. But sort of at the cost of being a bit vulnerable to falling into thinking too much and ruminating. Ruminating is like just, I think I'm an overthinker. Oh my gosh, you know, an overanalyzer, analysis paralysis.
I think more people are overthinkers than they let on they are, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like I think artists are more sensitive than others, but again, I don't even like saying that, because I think everyone is sensitive, as you just kind of alluded to. Like, I think just some people don't open up as much about it, and I think there's something really beautiful about showing your vulnerability. Yeah. It is scary, but I think when you do, other people realize it helps other people, and we're here to help each other, right? We're here to be like, hey, it's okay to be sad sometimes. like I don't think the goal anyways is happiness. I think because happiness is very eluding, and it's sometimes so much based on things that have come into your life that will go also. Like, they'll come and they'll go. I think it's more just, I don't know, like being a caretaker of the world, you know, like doing your best, leaving the place better than you found it, and also just like inspiring and serving others rather than just chasing your own pleasures. Because a lot of things that we do that, you know, just do what makes you happy. Well, what if I do that thing that makes me happy, but it's causing someone else to suffer or something else? Like, so it's like, I don't know if I should just do things that please me anymore. I should do things that maybe are better me, or better the world, or give me strength, or show compassion and kindness, versus just having it all about me, you know.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
As a final kind of like note, for people that have loved what they've heard, which I don't understand why they wouldn't.
That's so
and
nice.
For people that have enjoyed the interview, like, where can they go? What can they do to find out more about you?
Oh, thanks. You can just Google Melinda Ortner. It's MELANDA ORTNER. Obviously, it'll be on the on the video. I didn't need to spell it, but I did. And then, you know, Instagram, Facebook, my website. My website is melindaortner.com or melindamusic.com. I made it easy, in case, like, the spelling, you know. And Twitter, you know, same as everybody, all the platforms.
Normal social stuff.
Normal social media.
Well, thank you again. It's really nice to chat.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Watch me as close as you can, and then kiss me before we both understand what might be or not be. Whisper a sweet saying in my ear, then listen to what my heart says so clear, then smile, just smile for me. And maybe I won't change for better, and maybe this won't mean forever, and someday you might love another, but I have you tonight. Follow me down to the place where only we know, where no one can see, and stay a while now, even if your heart won't. And maybe I won't change for better, and maybe this won't mean forever, and someday you might love another, but I have you tonight. And all the days we've shared don't mean we're both not scared, 'cause everything can change in a moment. But when you look at me, I'm right where I should be, and I fall in your arms, and it all starts over again. And maybe I won't change for better, and maybe this won't mean forever, and someday you might love another, but I have you tonight. Yes, I have you tonight.
The song is called Maybe. I think this isn't plugged in anywhere.
Oh, yes. That was
I
my
kept
fault.
turning it up like,
Well.
I'm not going to hear myself when I start singing.
Now you need to turn it down, otherwise you'll just hear the piano.
Right.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. You Brits apologize too much.
I know. I'm sorry.